Hey guys, can you all hear me?
Yes, Suresh.
Yes, we can hear you.
I hope you are able to see my screen as well.
Yes.
So let's get started, guys. Just a recap of what we have discussed in the last week. We started our course. We tried to understand, different types of programming languages we have and in what category Python will fall into. Then we talked about data types and variables, different types of data types we have, int, string, float, and Boolean, complex, which are few data types which we have focused on. We haven't got into sequence and collection types, okay, which we'll be discussing as a separate topic. And then we spoke about variables and do's and don'ts of creating a variable. Then we talked about typecasting, and then we talked about standard input output functions. Then we did one example, our first example, which is EMI calculator. So this is where we stand today, guys. I mean, this week is all about getting into the core programming concepts, where we'll be talking about conditional statements, loops, control statements in Python, and then we'll talk about functions, how we define user-defined functions, and then we'll talk about arrays. And if we still have time, we will be getting into collections framework as well this week. Okay. So it's going to be a hectic week for sure in terms of topics that are going to be covered. Okay. But before we go there, I have a couple of things to cover. On Friday, since I was not using this notebook, I don't know where we stood, but we haven't completed Python features, listing all the Python features. We spoke about Python being a high-level programming language, interpreted programming language. It comes under OOPS, and then it's a typed programming language, and then Python is open source. Any idea, guys, what exactly open source is? Meaning, Any idea? Open source versus licensed softwares.
It's available for public, no license needed.
Mhm.
The source code is available to public, so they can edit it how they want, like use it, edit and use it how they want.
Yes. Okay. So that's the exact definition of an open source, guys. So basically, it's not that you can do whatever you want. There is a guidance. There are protocols, okay, which you'll have to follow, because only on authorized acceptance of your edits it will be merged into the actual code. Okay, but yes, you can see the source code. Source code will be available for everyone to see, and let's say you feel something is missing, you can contribute to it, on which you will be called as an open source contributor. Having that tag in your resume will, make your entry into any organizations easy, guys. Okay. On the other hand, licensed softwares are maintained by an organization. Say, for example, Windows or Microsoft Word or any other Microsoft products you're using, they're all licensed products. Okay, SQL Server or Outlook. Okay. Now, another important Python feature is cross-platform. Any idea what exactly cross-platform, meaning of cross-platform?
A code can be used in multiple platforms like Linux, Unix, or Windows.
Yes. So basically, there is no platform dependency, guys. Platform can be your Windows platform or Unix platform or Mac platform, whatever it is, right? So whatever the code you have written in Windows, you can run the same code in Unix as well. Okay. You will not have a what you call a platform specific Python code. You'll not write two different codes for Windows and Unix. You'll write the same code and you can execute it. Okay, and there are a lot of other features too, which I don't want to get into. If you go through blogs, you'll see 10, 15 features like ease of use, wide range of applications. Okay, so I don't want to get there, but these are the important features. It's a high level programming language. It's an interpreted programming language. It follows OOPS paradigm, and then it's a typed programming language. Guys, can you please go on mute? If you're not talking, I request you to go on mute, please. Thank you. Okay, so it's an open source software, and finally, it's a cross-platform, meaning it doesn't have any platform dependency. Okay, now we'll move on to the next important topic, guys. Python operators. Okay, so we have different types of operators supported in Python: arithmetic operators. Then we have conditional operators. Okay, and then we have comparison operators and conditional comparison. Then we have assignment operators. Then we have identity operators. Okay. And then we have membership operators. And finally, we have bitwise operators. Okay. So any idea about these operators? Have you ever heard of them? I think most probably first four should be straightforward, and last three could be little tricky. Okay. Not little tricky, but if you understand what it is, you'll get to know what they are. Okay. So we'll start with arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are something which you are very familiar with. Okay, so plus operator for adding two operands. Operands can be your integers, whatever you are trying to add, LHS and RHS, plus, minus, and then into. Then we have divided by. Then we have exponential operator. Okay, and we have modulus operator, and then we have floor division operator. Okay, so these are the different set of operators which we have. I think first five you should be very familiar with. Plus is addition, minus is subtraction, asterisk is multiplication, and then forward slash is for division, and two asterisks is for power. Okay, exponential. Okay, 2 power 3, 3 power 2, 4 power 2. We use this exponential operator. And then these last two are, something which is important. Um, modulus operator and then floor division operator. This percentile is what we call as modulus, and this double forward slash is what we call as floor division. So any idea what is a modulus operator or a floor division operator?
I think the modulus operator gives the remainder.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And floor division,
It
It gives
divides
the remainder.
numbers and it gives the nearest integer.
sorry.
It divides two numbers and it gives the nearest integer.
Okay.
It is useful for reminder.
That is modulus. Okay. So guys, one important catch. Whenever you are learning these operators, what that operator would return is something which is really, really important. Okay. So for example, I have A is equals to 10
Coefficient.
and then B is equals to 5. When you do A plus B, it returns the sum value, which is 15. When you do A minus B, it returns the difference value, which is 5. And then when you do A into B, it returns a multiplication value, which is 50. And then A divided by B, it will give 10 divided by 2, 10 divided by 5, which is 2. Okay. And then maybe A exponential operator 5, it would give you 10, A exponential operator B, it will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, which is 1 lakh. Okay. Now let's talk about, this one, guys. Let's say um, 5 divided by 10. 5 to 10 and the remainder is 0. So basically this is the output you get by modulus operator, and this is the output you get by floor division operator. So modulus operator is nothing but a remainder operator where you get remainder when you divide something with any integer. Okay. And floor division is a quotient operator. Okay, so basically you get the quotient value. So for example, 9 divided by 2, okay, or 9 modulus 2. Okay. Now when you divide 9 with 2, 2 fours 8, and then remainder is 1. So the output of this will be 1. And then 9 floor division 2, 2 fours 8. So, this is what you get as the output here for the integer value. Okay. So this is the difference between modulus operator and floor division operator. These are very important operators, guys. I mean, floor division, I'm not sure, but I haven't used anywhere. But this modulus operator I have used at a lot of places. Especially, I don't know how many of you know about bucketing. Okay, so generally, whenever we want to create buckets, right, this modulus operator comes into picture. Not just there, even when you are using hash tables or hash maps internally, this bucketing would takes place. Okay, and there this modulus operator will be used internally. Okay,
So
but
modulus is a quotient, right? And floor
no,
division is a remainder.
modulus is remainder. Modulus is remainder. This percentile operator is remainder. Okay, and the double forward slash is quotient.
Yep.
Okay, are we good, everyone?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now moving on, the next operators is comparison operators. Okay, so comparison operators, basically the operators are greater than, less than, equals to, and not equals to, okay, and then greater than or equals to, and less than or equals to. And this comparison operators always returns a Boolean value, which is either true or false. Which is either true or false. Okay, so greater than would check if the left operand is greater than the right operand. If true, then it will return true. If false, it returns false. The same applies for less than, and this equals to is an equality operator. It will check whether both the operands are same. If yes, it will return true, else it will return false. This is not equals to. This can also be represented like this as well. Okay, you can use whatever you're comfortable with, but not equals to operator is kind of negation to the equality operator or equals operator. Okay, and then greater than or equals to, here it has to be strictly greater than, and this will return true even if the value is equal. Equal and greater, it will return true. The same is for less than or equals to as well. Okay, so for example, I'm taking A is equals to 10, B is equals to 20, and then C is equals to maybe 10. Okay, so A greater than B, 10 greater than 20 is false. It will return false. Okay, and then maybe A less than B will return true. And then A equals to C will return true. A greater than or equals to C return true. B less than or equals to A return false. Likewise, A not equals to C will return false because A and C are equal. Okay, so this is how we use comparison operators, guys. Okay, so basically we try to compare two operands. It need not be two all the time. You can compare more than two values as well. Okay, but we will be adding the conditional operator in between, which we'll be discussing shortly. But yes, it will return either true or false, a Boolean value. When the condition is met, it will be true. When condition is not met, it will be false. As simple as that. Are we good? Yes, no,
Yes.
maybe. Okay, so let's move on to the next set of operators, which is conditional operators. Okay, and in conditional operators, we only have three operators, guys, which is conditional and, conditional or, and conditional not. Okay, so basically this will help you to evaluate multiple, conditions basically. Okay, so this will help you to evaluate multiple conditions. So what do I mean by a condition here? A greater than B can be a condition. A less than B can be a condition. Okay, B equals to C can be a condition, which either returns a true value or a false value. All these conditions, right, will return a true value or a false value. Okay, and when you want to evaluate these multiple conditions, that is where the conditional operators would come into picture. Conditional and, conditional or, conditional not. Okay, let us assume, you have condition A. Okay, this A can be any condition, whatever we have discussed, A greater than B, A less than B, B equals to C, B less than or equals to C, A not equals to C, can be any condition, guys. And then B is another condition which you are trying to evaluate. And then when you do A and B, this is how your truth table would look like. We call this as a truth table. Okay, so let's say condition A is returning true and condition B is returning true. I'm just trying to write different permutations and combinations possible. Okay, condition A is returning true, condition B is returning false. Condition A is returning false, condition B is returning true. Okay, and finally both the conditions are false. These are the these are the various permutations and combinations possible, right? There are no more permutations and combinations possible because a condition can return either true or false. So A can return true or false, B can return true or false. 2 into 2, 4 combinations. Now, for this condition to be true, when you are using AND, all the conditions here has to be true. Okay, so this will be true, the output, this will be false, this will be false, and then this will also be false. Okay, now you might ask me, boss, can we use AND operator only between two conditions? No, you can use AND operator between any number of conditions. Any number of conditions, A and B and C and D and E and F. Okay, but for the output to be true, all the conditions have to be true. All the conditions have to be true, and rest all the cases it will be false. Okay, now we have or A or B, A or B. Now talking about this, when we talk about OR operator, right? So sorry, OR condition or OR conditional. Hey, one moment. These are not conditional. My bad. My bad. I'm very very sorry, guys. Okay, so these are logical operators. Logical and, logical or, logical not. I'm so sorry. Okay. You know, this is due to lack of sleep. My bad. Please excuse me. Okay, so these are logical operators. These are called as logical and, logical or, and logical not. Okay, so when you are using this or, right, any one of the conditions have to be true. Any one of the conditions have to be true. Okay, meaning both the conditions are true, your output would be true. Both the condition, I mean here A is true, so still it will be true. Here B is true, still it will be true. And when A and B are false, when both are false, it will be false. Okay, so the same applies for OR as well. It doesn't really matter whether you have, uh, 10 conditions, 20 conditions, 50 conditions, doesn't really matter. When one of them is true, the final output would be true. I repeat, when one of them is true, the final output would be true. Let me take a pause. Are we good so far? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, we have not operator, guys. Let's say I'm taking only one condition. Okay, so this condition can be a combination of multiple conditions. Okay, and then not A, right? When this is true, it will give you the negation of it, false. If this is false, it will give you true. Okay, so we will have to do some examples on this. Okay, let's do it right away. Okay, because you need to understand a few other things as well. Okay, so I'm giving multiple conditions. I mean, first let me create some variables. A is equals to 10, maybe B is equals to 20, and then C is equals to 30, and then D is equals to 10. Okay, so I'm creating 4 different variables. Okay, now I'm gonna write different conditions, guys. Okay, maybe result is equals to A greater than B, A greater than B, and B greater than C. Can you guess the output? If I try to print result, can you guess the output?
False.
A greater than B,
False.
10 yes. Because A greater than B is false, guys. You don't even need to evaluate the other conditions because it's an AND operator. When one condition is false, your output would be false. Okay. And then here I'm adding one more condition or, okay, C greater than D. Now,
True.
True.
It is true because or takes precedence over and. Or takes precedence over and. Okay, so when one condition is true, your final output would be true. And then maybe result is equals to, okay, A equals to D. Print result. So any guess?
False.
A
True.
equals to
True.
D is true.
True. True.
Okay. And if I have to use not operator, I can give not. It will return false. And also parenthesis is not mandatory, but it's always a good practice to give parenthesis, guys, when you are giving these conditions, which increases readability. Which increases readability. I mean, your code looks good, right? Here you are if you are seeing this result is equals to not A equals to D, it's not looking good. Maybe you add this parenthesis, it will clearly say, okay, A equals to D is the condition, A equals to D is the condition, which we are checking, and then we are applying a not operator on top of it, not logical operator. Okay. So these are few things which I wanted to talk about. I hope everybody is aware of these operators and then how it works. Now, moving on. Next set of operators is assignment operators. This is another interesting operators. Any idea, guys, what exactly are these assignment operators?
Is equal to.
Yes. What else?
Double
That's
is
it,
equal
guys.
to?
No.
Is equal to only assigns the value, right? Nothing else assigns anything.
No, there are. There are other operators too. Okay. So basically assignment
So
operators are
plus
used.
minus.
Yes. Plus equals to, minus equals to, into equals to. Okay. So we'll start with equals to. This is a simple operator which we have been already using to assign a value to a variable. Okay. And in addition to equals to, we also have plus equals to, minus equals to, into equals to, and then divided by equals to, modulus equals to, and then floor division equals to. Okay. So what do I mean by this? Let me give you an example. A is equals to B, sorry, A equals to 5, which you pretty much know, equals to operator, and then maybe B is equals to some 10. Now A equals to A plus B. Now, can you tell me the value of A?
15.
Yes, 15. So basically what's happening here is A plus B will be evaluated, which is 15, and then that 15 will be assigned to the variable A. Okay. So this can also be written as A plus equals to B. So basically you're doing A plus B and then assigning that value to A. Okay, so this is what an assignment operator does. So for example, A minus equals to B.
Suresh,
Question,
can you
please.
repeat that again, please? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that again, please? Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do A minus is equals to B, A is equals to A minus B. This is equivalent to. Okay. So simple, guys. If you take.
Can I ask you a question, Suresh?
Yeah.
So A equals to 5
Mm-hmm.
and B equals to 10, and you
Mm-hmm.
said A equals to A plus B.
Mm-hmm.
What is the distinction between the letter A before equal sign and the letter A after the equal sign?
It's the same value.
Mathematically, it is
It's a,
not sounding right, but syntax wise, how can I understand that?
it is correct mathematically as well. You stop looking at A as a constant. A is a variable. Okay. The value in A can be changed. I'm about to explain the same. Say for
Oh,
example, this is RAM. Okay, and when you create a equals to 5, this is what happens. It will create some value, and then a is mere a reference to this a, and then you're creating b, and the b is somewhere reference to this 10. Okay, now when you're doing a is equals to a plus b, a is equals to a plus b. Now what it would do is, it will create, it will calculate some 5 plus 10, 15, and then, it will store 15 here instead of 10. So you will no longer get 5. You will no longer get 5. Okay. So again, if you still want to deep dive, this is what exactly happens when these statements are executed. Now, if a is equals to 5, b is equals to 10, and a equals to a plus b. Now, when you talk about memory allocation, right, it will create a variable a, it will create a variable 10, and a and b are mere pointers, and then it will calculate the sum a plus b, store it somewhere, and create a new pointer to a, and this one would be deleted. Okay, so when you print a, you will no
Got
longer
it.
see 5.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. So that initial A value will be deleted. So there is no
Yes,
redundancy.
there is
Thank
no
you.
redundancy.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the reason a is called as a variable, guys. It's not a constant. Okay, so in constants, generally, you see that values attach it to a particular variable, but attach it to a particular, what can I tell? There is no such concept here in Python, at least. So I'm not even able to give you an example. Okay, but variable, the meaning itself is same, right? The variable can contain any value. Okay, and yeah, coming back to this, when you're doing a plus equals to, plus operation would be done first, and then assignment will be done. Similarly, minus operation is done first, and then equals to assignment operation is done. Okay, so when you want to write some posh code, right, instead of writing a equals to a minus b, you can do this, a minus equals to b. Similarly, a into equals to b is equivalent to a is equals to a into b. Similarly, a equals to a divided by b, so on and so forth. When you don't want to create a third variable and you want to store the same value in one of the existing variables, this is what you can do. Let me take a pause. Are we good?
Now, can you show an example?
Yeah. So I'm going back to this one. Okay, so you see these variables, right? A, B, C, and D. Now, maybe what I'll do is A plus equals to B, and then I'm printing it. Print of A. You see, now the value of A has been changed to 30. And, the same would happen when I do A equals to A plus B. A equals to A plus B. And when I do print of A, same thing would happen, 30. Okay, and then let's say I'm running this again to reset my values A, B, C, and D. And if I do A into equals to B, you would get A value as 200. Okay, B, A into B will happen first, and then the value would be stored in A, the final value or the returned value. Print of A is this 200. Okay, let me take a pause. Are we good?
Yes.
Everyone?
Suresh, one quick question.
Sure.
So these like operators, uh, is it mandatory that there be a space between the variable and the operator?
No, it's just my formatting for better readability. Even without these spaces, it can work. Okay.
Yes, Suresh, I have one more question. So instead of taking the value directly, we are just taking A equals to 10 and we are assigning again A equals to A plus B, right? What is the use case of this assignment variables, Suresh? Where we are?
And say, for
in the
example, you have a counter.
Mhm.
Okay, and then you want to increment that counter every single time an action is performed. You know, you'll be using this plus equals to. Okay, so this is equivalent to count plus plus in other programming languages like Java.
Okay.
Okay, so not just that, I mean, whenever you don't want to create a third variable, right, you feel that the default values or the initial values are not important, why you should be creating a third variable.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it is for iterative values, right?
Yes.
So Suresh, is it also like, can we also understand as A and B are constants, and once the variable A comes into the picture, then A and B, the constants values will be taken, and A will prevail over the constant A. Is
No,
that
I don't want to use that word constant. Sorry. So,
okay?
because they are not constants, you know, their values are bound to change. It is a variable. By
Okay.
definition, it is a
So
variable.
assigned value. Can I say assigned
Yeah,
value?
yes, you can say it's an
Okay.
assigned value. That
Thank you.
makes proper sense.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Perfect. Now let's move on to the next set of operators, guys. These are some interesting operators, whatever we're gonna discuss now, identity and membership. And these operators you will be using everywhere. I mean, in fact, all these operators, you know, if not one operator, you will be using few operators frequently. Say, for example, and, or, and not, you will use very frequently. In assignment, you know, the increment operator and then equals to operator you use every now and then. And comparison, yes, comparison is also very important, which you keep using it. So for example, you want to compare two dates, or whether you want to compare two integer values, or maybe you want to find out the maximum value. Okay, so this comparison operator would always come to your rescue. Okay, and now there are a couple more operators which are identity operators. And the next one is membership operators. Okay, identity operators are is and is not. These are the two operators which we have under identity operators. And membership operators, we have two operators, in and not in. Okay, so any idea, guys? Is and is not. Any idea what exactly are these operators? Is not.
Is it like true and false?
Is it like true and false? So basically
Equals to
it will
not
return true or false. Yeah, so it returns true or false, the final value. But where do we use is and is not? Okay, let me explain. Say for example, this is my RAM and I have written two lines of code, A equals to 5 and then B equals to 5. Okay, now there are two possibilities, right? You know, this is one possibility and this is second possibility. Okay, where two variables would be created and pointed to two different memory locations. Okay, and then B, and the second scenario, sorry, this is B. And second scenario, you'll only have one value created and both the variables point to the same location, A and then B. Which one do you think will happen? First scenario or second scenario? Let us assume this is scenario 1 and this is scenario 2. So which scenario do you think will happen?
The second scenario.
Scenario
Sorry, not the first scenario. Sorry, the first scenario.
First scenario will happen.
Second.
First scenario.
Okay, so there are some mixed answers. Okay, this can be verified by using is and is not operator, guys. Okay, so is operator will tell you whether an object you have created is referring, sorry, the variable you have created is referring to the same object. Okay, so here let's go ahead and verify the same. Answer is 2, but let me show you. Now if a is equals to 5 and then b is equals to 5. Now when I do a is b, it will return true. Okay, let's say a is equals to 5, b is equals to 10. Now if a is b, will return false. Okay, so you might ask me, boss, how is it different from equals to operator? Okay, so at this point in time, with whatever the knowledge you have, both of them looks alike. But when you are dealing with the complex objects where you create your own class and own object, it makes a difference. Okay, because equals to operator will check for value and is operator will check for memory location. Are two variables referring to the same object? Is what is done by identity operators, is and is not. Equals to operator, though they are at different locations, are they having the same value? Same value and same location is the difference. Okay, so if you take C as an example, so here we are checking the, is checking for pointer values, which is address. Okay, and equals to is checking for the actual values that are stored in RAM. Okay, so probably after a few more sessions, I'll try to give you an example where is and equals to operator returns different values. Are we good?
Yes.
Suresh, is there any way to print the address of each variable? Is it possible?
Yes. There is a way. Like I said, I'm too bad at memory. Yeah, ID function. You can also get the size as well. There is size function, how much size it is occupying in RAM. Okay, so let's say a equals to 5 and then b equals to 5. Print ID of a and print ID of b. You see, both are exactly same.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there is something called size of a. Size of a. One moment, there is a way to print size. Sys.get size of. Okay, my bad. There you go. Okay, so there is a way to check all these things, guys.
That 28 is the bytes or?
I think it's bytes. Particular size. Get size
You're
of
gonna tell
it's
the
4
is
bytes.
not or only for is you're saying for now?
Sorry?
You're gonna quote an example for is not as well?
Is not is exactly different, opposite to this negation.
But
So for
earlier scenario, we are checking for not only is, right? We are not checking for A equal to 5 and B equal to 5, but we want whether if A and B both are 5, then the condition how it will be going.
I didn't get you. Sorry, your good name.
Soumya.
It's reflected as Mahesh.
Oh yeah, I'm Soumya. Listen, like A equal to 5, B equal to 5. So it's true, we know that. But if A equal to 10, is condition is false. So I want to know if it is not for the previous thing, like A equal to 5, B equal to 5, what we gonna get?
You'll get false. E is not 5. A is not B. Here you're talking.
Yeah.
It will get false. It's a negation of is operator.
Oh, okay. That is confusing for me. I'm not getting it actually.
It's equals to or not equals to, as simple as that. Whether you want to check whether both
Yeah,
are
now I
equal or yeah. Okay. So I mean, whenever you are searching in internet, right, you know, which
Yeah,
happens
so
quite often. Let me complete, please. Otherwise, I'll forget this point. These are few websites which I blindly trust. One is Geeks for Geeks. Okay. Whenever I'm looking for some reference, whenever I'm debugging an error, my go-to guy is Stack Overflow. Most of the programmers know this. Okay. And there are other websites too, which I generally use. Geeks for Geeks. And then whenever there is something from Java T Point, I'll go ahead with Java T Point. Okay. And you know, Stack Overflow. Okay. And then sometimes, you know, I would go with the blogs written in Medium, because in Medium, you know, people like you and me will write blogs, okay, for understanding few things. So this is another interesting site. I mean, you might not get all the concepts there, but whatever the blogs that are available in Medium, they are well written. So I generally trust this. And for tutorials, if you want to follow Java T Point, and then there is another website called Tutorials Point and W3 Schools. These are all good websites. Okay, so these are all good websites, guys. Okay, so just because I showed you searching something, I just want to cover this part. Okay, yeah, now somebody is asking some question. Yeah, you can please go ahead.
No, I'll just piggyback on the lack of clarity from one of the participants. If A is if you can go back to that screen where you said A value and B value. If A is 5 is assigned value for B, A, and also for B, and A is not B, are you referring to this A as a variable, or this A, B are variable, or are they assigned values? How do I
No,
read that?
they're variables. So
Okay,
basically,
thanks.
it has nothing to do with assigned values. It will check if both A and B are pointing to the same value, same object, I would say, or same location. You see here, this is what it would check for.
Oh, location. Okay, makes sense now. Yeah,
Okay.
location.
When they are not located, let's say, you know, if the case is first scenario, it will return false. In case of second scenario, it will return true. Okay. But first scenario would never happen when you are assigning the same value for two variables. Okay. That can be true for an object. When you create a class and then create an object, that can be true. Like I said, that's the reason at this point in time, I might not be able to give you the exact examples where equals to and these operators will return different output. Okay, but in the coming sessions, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna show you. We don't even need to get till classes and objects. If after I explain you list and other things, I can show you.
Suresh?
Yeah.
I have a question.
I just have some, it's just a question or whatever, confirmation. So when we declare A equal to 5 and B equal to 5, just as in the first scenario, A points to a 5 in a different memory location. The variable B points to a different memory location. But when
When
you
the values
declare
are
A,
same, when the
when
values
the
are same,
values are same but two different locations,
it won't happen. That's not how Python works.
two different memory locations, isn't that?
It won't happen. It will never happen in Python. That's not how Python works. So when the values are same, both the variables will point to the same object or same memory location. The value stored in the same memory location.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking when you are assigning two different variables, I mean, when you declare two different variables with the values, they point to it two different locations. But when A equal to B, then they would both point to a same memory location.
No. No. Whatever you
So,
said will
Suresh,
be applicable for a list.
but Suresh, you have in the example that you have drawn, right? You have drawn like A and B going to the same location. Like both independent. A arrow, you did the memory location, and then B 5 same memory location. Yes, this one. Yeah. So which one are you saying that it won't happen?
One will
Both
never
are
happen.
true?
One will never happen in Python.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Suresh, in latter case, basically in that case, if we later in the program, if you are changing the B value for say, then it will allocate a new memory location for that. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So guys, one request from my side. Basically the way we learn things, right? I mean, you can ask hundreds of questions. That shouldn't be a problem. But if you see most of the questions, they are in the same direction, but with a different verbose. Okay. So we only have a few sessions left. We have a hard and fast deadline to complete this course before your data engineering and whatever the other technology you have chosen starts. Okay, so basically, the way I learn, right, whenever I get anything in my mind, I'll just go try it. There is no harm in trying it out. Okay, so based on the output, I can infer what is happening, what exactly is happening. Okay, so I'm not asking you to stop asking doubts. You can definitely ask, no worries. But what I would recommend is whenever you're getting these doubts, right, I want you to, go explore and then, try it on your own and then probably you can still not clear. Okay, I mean, right now in the beginning sessions, it's okay. But going forward, if you can start following that approach, it will give us a lot of other advantages. It would save a lot of time in the session, and also it will give you some exposure to the programming language, and you end up learning more concepts in your search process. Okay, but uh, when things are getting delayed, I might have to take sessions on weekends as well in the coming sessions. Okay. Again, I don't stop you guys. I mean, as long as you think your doubt is genuine and you cannot do it yourself in my absence, you can definitely ask those questions. No worries at all. Okay. And this is a humble request. Don't take it in a different way, right? This is just a request. And if you want to ask any questions, if you want to discuss anything, you are free. You're free to do that. But like I said, I might end up taking sessions on weekends as well. Okay. Just to cover the lost time.
Yeah.
Hope everybody is with me, because your DevOps faculty or data engineer faculty won't wait till I complete Python sessions. Okay, now moving on. The membership operators, we have two different types of membership operators, guys, in and not in. Okay, so the name itself is telling you, right, what is in and what is not in. Whenever you want to check if something belongs to something, we use this. Okay. Say, for example, I haven't introduced any collections to you, so I'll be taking a string example. Okay. So, for example, there is a string called ID, and in that ID, I have maybe country code IN, and then state code maybe TG Telangana. Okay, and then maybe some date, today's date. 2024 YY, and then let's say 06, and then DD 25. Okay, and the plant ID is 1001. Let's say this is how we have defined ID. Let's say the data is coming from a plant where country code is IN, India, TG is Telangana, and then 2024-0625 is the date, and then 1001 is the plant ID or maybe the location ID. Okay. Now, let's say I want to check, if this ID belongs to Telangana or not. If this ID belongs to Telangana or not. So what I can do is I can just do TG IN in ID. If this returns true, it belongs to Telangana, else not. Answer is true. This is the beauty of operator. Whenever you want to check, here I have taken string. You might ask me, boss, substring function would also do the same, right? Yes, answer is yes. Okay, substring is to extract something, but you can extract it and then use that method to verify it is a subset or not. Okay, but when you're dealing with collections, it will be quite handy. Say, for example, I'm creating a list called animals, and in that animals, maybe I have lion, tiger, and then maybe cat, and then dog. Okay, now I'm creating this list. Now, let's say maybe I want to check if some value is present in this list or not. Cat in animals will return true because it's present. Okay, maybe elephant in animals will return false, and then not in is negation of in operator. Since elephant is not in animals, it will return true. Okay, so you might ask me when to go for in and when to go for not in. Generally, I will use either in or not in depending on number of values I want to check. Depending on number of values I want to check. Say, for example, I want to check if 3 values are present in a list. Instead of checking for 3 values, I'll use the remaining value and check not in. That should work. Okay, but as membership operator, the name itself is telling you whether the left operand is a member of right operand. Okay, if it is member of right operand, then it will return true, else false. Okay, so I understand you are not yet introduced to list, but just to show you the flavor of how it looks like, I have taken this example. Are we good? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, yeah.
Got it,
Yes.
Suresh.
Okay, and I want you to be careful, guys. Let's say if you give TG in small case or lowercase, it will return false because Python is case sensitive. Uppercase TG is different from lowercase tg. So please be careful while you are doing any comparison operators like equals to, not equals to, or in, or is, right? So uppercase, lowercase has a difference. Okay. But
one question, Suresh, like we use the identifier, identity and membership for variables, and is there any difference? Why this and why that?
Sorry?
Where we should use identity and where we should use membership?
Identity and membership are completely two different scenarios, right? So membership to check whether something belongs to, whether, the left operand is a part of right operand. Is and is not is completely a different scenario. If you want to check if two variables are referring to the same object, is when you will be using a variable. Say, for example, if you do tg is id, the syntax issue because tg is not even a variable.
I got it. I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Now, moving on, our last set of operators, you will get used to it, guys. Trust me, because we keep using in and not in hundreds of times in the coming sessions, because once we start collections, right, this will be really, really handy for us because many a times we do search operations, right? when you store some values and then you want to check if that element is present in the list or not, or any collection, not just list. It can be a set, it can be a dict, it can be a tuple or an array. Okay, we keep using in operator. Okay, is and is not relatively less. Maybe we'll not be using it honestly, at least in our scenario, but I'll be bringing an example to show you the difference between equals to and is. Okay, so that one I'll be doing for sure. But do we use identity operators in real time? I have never used it. Okay. So one last operator, which is bitwise operator. Again, this is another set of, this is one set of operators which I have never used till date, because who would work on bits? Okay, but still, just because it is there in Python, I'll be spending a couple of minutes to explain this. So you have bitwise OR, bitwise AND, bitwise NOT, bitwise XOR, bitwise right shift, and bitwise left shift. Okay, so these are the different bitwise operators we have, guys. Okay, so what would happen is you take any integer operand, this will be converted to binary values. Okay, so for example, the binary value of 5 is it is 5, right? So you need a units digit, and then this is not needed, and you need ones digit, sorry, twos digit, and then this is not needed. So this is how it works. 1 into 2 power 0. So these are powers 0, 1, 2, and 3. 1 into 2 power 0, 0 into 2 power 1, and then 1 into 2 square plus 0 into 2 power 3. Okay, so these are the powers 0, 1, 2, 3 from right to left, and everything is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 square, and then 3. Based on these values, you'll be multiplying. So this is 0, this is 4, this is 0 again, and this is 1 into 1, 1. 2 power 0 is 1. 4 plus 1 will be 5. This is how you convert any integer value to bits or binary. Okay. Now, again, we'll go with the truth table. Let's say you have A and then B, then 0, 0, different combinations I'm writing 0, 1, 1, 0, and then 1, 1. You can assume 0 as false and 1 as true here. So 0, 0 will give you 0 for AND. 0, 1 will also give you 0. 1, 0 will give you 0. 1, 1 will give you 1. And you take OR operator, 0, 0 will be 0 and rest all will be 1. Just like your logical operators. Okay, and then XOR operator, this is something new. So this will return 1 when one of the values is 1, meaning this and this you'll get 1, and even though both are 1s, you'll still get 0, and 0, 0, it will be 0. Okay, and then bitwise right shift and left shift, moving these values towards right or towards left. So what do I mean by that? Say for example, you take 5 and this 5 right shift by one value, meaning you currently have 0, 1, 0, 1. It will be shifting right by one value, meaning this value would be moved out. It will be 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay, so if it is left shift 1, it will move one bit towards left, meaning 101, and the moved value will be replaced with 0. Okay, so now you ask me, boss, tell me real-time application of these bitwise operators. I have never used. Now the second question, boss, bitwise operators asked in interviews, when you are not using them in any real-time scenarios, I think, definitely not. At least in my areas, nobody have asked me any questions on bitwise operators, except in my college Viva lab exam. Okay, nowhere else, nobody have asked about bitwise operators, guys. Are we good? Yes, no, maybe. At least I can assure you in data area, DevOps area, or web development area, nobody would be asking you questions on bitwise operators. Okay.
Suresh, what was the name of the fourth bitwise operator? I mean, OR.
This one?
And
this is
not
XOR.
XOR.
XOR. XOR operator. So we have gates, right? XOR gate, NAND gate, AND gate.
Right. Yeah, that logical gates.
Yes, logical gates. So this is similar to the same thing. Okay.
And the third one,
Third one
beside
is
the
negation, not operator.
negation. Oh, okay, understood. Negation.
Complement. So in bitwise, we call it as complement.
Okay.
What it does is negation.
Understood. Anything with like
Yes, 0 to
not
1,
equal
1 to
to
0. Correct.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. So we'll stop here, guys. I need to join another session. I'm already 5 minutes late. Okay. So we'll continue tomorrow and we'll be starting conditional statements. Sorry. Yeah, conditional statements. And one request from my side, don't miss next 4 sessions, guys. If you are new to programming language. Okay. If you are new to programming language, please don't skip next 4 sessions, please. Okay.
So Suresh, one question before you go. I mean, the example that you're giving for identity operators, you said import sys and then use the sys.getSizeOf.
This one, right?
So yeah, that's sys. What is the correct technical term for that sys? I mean, what are that?
It's a system
import sys?
library. System library.
So those are, I mean, so sys is a library file.
It's a library file. I'll talk about that. So basically it's a module. We are importing a module. So we do have this concept modules. I'll talk about that. What we are exactly doing. So for example, get size of, you haven't written the code for getting size of a variable, right? So it is there in this sys module. So basically importing this sys is equivalent to writing code of get size of. Okay. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And the gate.
Cool.
And the gate.
Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Suresh. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Suresh. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Wash my hands. Hi, auntie. Wait. Hi, auntie. Hello. Hi, auntie. Padma auntie? Ma? నేను జాయిన్ అయ్యాను కానీ ఏంటి పద్మ ఆంటీ అని వస్తుంది ఇక్కడ కానీ అదేంటి ఆవిడ మాట్లాడలేదు ఆవిడ మాట్లాడలేదేంటి ఆవిడ మాట్లాడలేదేంటి ఓకే పద్మ ఆంటీ హాయ్ ఆంటీ ఏంటంటే మాట్లాడలేదు ఇందాక లాస్ట్ టైం మాట్లాడలేదు అంటే
ఇంకొకరు ఎవరో మాట్లాడుతుంటే వాళ్ళకి ఫేమస్ చేస్తున్నది వచ్చిందా డ్రాగన్
లిడియా వచ్చింది
లిడియావా
పేరు అమ్మ
పేరు
LY లిడియా ఎంబర్
లిడియా
లిడియా ఎంబర్
అబ్బో
నేను రాస్తాను ఒక్క నిమిషం.
చెప్పగలరా?
Video